Are you tired? Do you need help focusing? Well, today's video is sponsored by Catalyst Mints, the greatest gaming, wake-up, homework, study, working, driving mints the world has ever known. And all thanks to its Siberian Eleuthero root technology, giving you all that energy without the crash. Check it out with the link in the description and use the coupon code Gnoggin for a discount. Pokemon is a massive franchise, and thus I don't need to introduce it to you. But egad, is it huge! And being as gargantuan as it is, it's no wonder that fans have speculated on just about everything. One popular speculation surrounds the classic Ashs Ketchum, the protagonist of the anime. The question these fans try to answer? How come he never ages? First things first, the ever-popular joke of "he never ages" is easily written off, as it's a cartoon, or it's an anime. I'm sorry, anime fans, it's an anime. A never-ending a never-ending anime that loops around and retcons previous season. These are actually fairly common. Take a look at The Simpsons, for example. Bart should be middle-aged now. This is to keep the writing of the characters easy. You don't have to take into consideration the fact that they're getting older. But there is a difference. The Simpsons always has everyone the same age, while in Pokemon, some characters have changed their looks and gotten older. But never Ash. He's had birthdays.
Don't you know what today is, Pikachu? This is the day we first met. The day we first became friends.
But they have later been retconned.
Home to this young man, 10-year-old Ashs Pikachus.
Clearly something is going on. Perhaps there is some explanation in the very first generation of the Pokemon franchise. In the very first episode of the Pokemon anime, fittingly named Pokemon I Choose You, Ash and his newfound Pikachu see a Ho-Oh in the sky. If we go into Ho-Oh's Pokedex entry found in Pokemon Gold and Silver, we find that, if found, the Pokemon can grant any viewer eternal happiness. We can assume that Ash would be eternally happy if he were on this Pokemon journey forever, and that's why he hasn't aged. To be a kid forever. Sounds nice until you consider never dropping your balls. Pokeballs. However, as with any theory, there are flaws to be found. Even though Ho-Oh flew right in front of Ash's bulging anime eyes, how would he even know what the Pokemon was? Even the Pokedex had no clue at the time. Ash never sees this Pokemon again until the second generation of the anime, and he seems so excited and dumbfounded when he does. And because of that, we can assume that Ash completely forgot about its existence. And oftentimes, like with wishing on a shooting star or blowing out your birthday candles, you have to actively be making the wish in your head for it to even have a chance of being granted. Not to mention, Ash just got started on his Pokemon journey, as this is the first episode of the show. He seems to be enjoying himself thus far, despite the whole Spearow thing, but I doubt he'd be actively wishing for the journey to never end, or to be immortal. While this is a very flawed theory, it's a nice one to think about. Unlike this next theory, which seems to be the most common amongst Pokemon fans, yet also the most disturbing. This honestly seems like it came straight out of a creepypasta. Yep, you guessed it. Ash has been in a coma the whole time. What fun. According to this troubling theory, in the first few episodes of the anime, Ash is electrocuted by one of Pikachu's attacks, possibly this massive one, and slips into a coma. The remainder of the show takes place inside of Ash's subconscious. You may be a bit confused, so I'll try to spell it out for you as best as I can. Because Ash spends the remainder of the show in this deep sleep, hallucinating everything, he never seems to physically age. But only mentioning that would be scratching the surface, as this theory has much more to talk about. This also explains why there are so many Officer Jennies and Nurse Joys around all of the regions. This seems to be the only logical explanation for this occurrence. Even Octo babies don't all look the same as they grow up, and yet there are hundreds of perfectly identical Officer Jennies and Nurse Joys? I don't buy it, unless they're clones or robots. And I don't buy that either. Some fans have added to this theory by stating that various characters symbolize different parts of Ash's brain, such as Brock representing Ash's supposed sexuality. This explains why Brock can't get into a relationship with anybody throughout the series, despite always looking and wanting to. Ash is about at that age where he would just start to notice girls, but have no clue as to why or how to act accordingly. Kind of like Brock. The main Team Rocket members adds to this by representing purity, as they are the only Team Rocket members who wear white outfits, and are always there testing Ash's own morality. Some fans have said that Pikachu represents humanity, at least when he runs away from Ash in the show, and there are just so many symbols that I can't really cover all of them in one video unless I wanted it to be a super long one. And this one particular theory isn't what this video is about. But back to the overview, the other big thing is, how is it possible for this one kid, Ash, to meet every single legendary and mythical Pokemon? He has saved the day, saved the city, saved the region, saved the world, saved the galaxy multiple times. He even saved God! No way would one person ever be able to achieve all of these things, let alone at age 10. So, these adventures we are seeing in the show aren't actually happening. They are Ash's fantastical dreams. Finally, when Ash wakes up from this intense coma, not only will he suffer brain damage, but he will also have to live the remainder of his life knowing that none of his accomplishments were ever achieved. This theory does explain some elements, but at the same time, if they ever ended the series with Ash waking up and seeing all of his accomplishments were fake, fabricated by his own mind, that would be absolutely devastating to the kids watching the show. Kinda just like him losing the league over and over again. Devastating. And now here's another theory. At the end of the day, we all age one day. Age was a number and term created by people to show how long a person or animal or thing has been alive or existed. But what if the Pokemon universe had a different perception of age? A different meaning of being 10 years old. In the arbitrary age theory, these theorists talk about just that. Perhaps the Pokemon universe replaces the term status with age. If you had just gone into the Pokemon world or fit the qualifications to do so, you're considered 10. Perhaps level 10. Once you have kids, you'd be 20, 25. Once you have grandkids, you'd be 50. The reason Brock is 15, despite looking much older, is because he takes care of his younger siblings in place of his parents, but hasn't had any kids or even a significant other, thus being in between 10 and 20. There is also May. She looks very clearly, very definedly older than 10. But if age in the Pokemon world just means status, this just means that she waited longer to start her journey. In our world, she'd be 15 or 16, but since she just started doing her Pokemon training stuff, she's considered 10. This would also cover most of the Pokemon game protagonists. They generally all look like they should be in their teens, possibly even late teens, and yet they're all 10 and 11 and 12. What? But if it's just a status number and not actually how long they've been on their planet, that makes sense. Sort of. It's kinda confusing, but hey, it's just a theory. Here's another. Remember the first Pokemon movie? It's one of my favorites, and this theory comes straight from the heart of that film. In the movie, Mew and Mewtwo annihilate Ash, turning him into stone. All of the magical Pokemon tears resurrect Ash, as if nothing ever happened, right? Well, while in stone, Ash was petrified. What if this also essentially petrified him in a time sense? What if this petrification permanently made Ash's body the way it is, causing him to never age? We know that the show takes place across multiple years. Ash and Pikachu celebrate their 1-year anniversary together, but the narrator says multiple times even after this that he's 10. Here's another theory. When you're watching any anime or show, you just have to remember that it's just that, a show. In the slowed time theory, the theorist talks about just that. The claim is that while the Pokemon anime has taken almost 20 years in our world, it's only actually a few months, maybe a year or two in the Pokemon world. The only problem with this being, again, Ash and Pikachu's anniversary, and then multiple seasons later, Ash is still 10. Because remember, that anniversary happened on Ash's birthday as well, when he turned 10. So here he turns 11. But seasons later, he's 10 again. In the end, however, it's just a show. you know? And Ash likely remains 10 as that is the show's target audience. While shows like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Naruto, and Digimon had their protagonists grow up for their target audience, other shows stick with what they know works, and they stick with a particular age group. And to stay relatable, they keep Ash young and incompetent. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Which theory seems the most likely to you? And have you ever wondered who Ash's father is? Some say it's Giovanni, some say it's Oak, but Birdkeeper Toby and I have a different answer in this video. And here's another. Until next time, you stay awesome, and never stop using that noggin. And remember, if you want a calorie-free source of energy, check out Catalyst Mints. Link in the description. That loops around and retcons previous season. These are actually fairly common. Take a look at The Simpsons, for example. Bart should be middle-aged now. This is to keep the writing of the characters easy. You don't have to take into consideration the fact that they're getting older. But there is a try to answer. How come he never ages? First things first, the ever-popular joke of "he never ages" is easily written off, as it's a cartoon, or it's an anime. I'm sorry, anime fans, it's an anime. A never-ending cartoon, a never-ending anime. Pokemon is a massive franchise, and thus I don't need to introduce it to you, but egad is it huge! And being as gargantuan as it is, it's no wonder that fans have speculated on just about everything. One popular speculation surrounds the classic Ashs Ketchum, the protagonist of the anime. The question these fans: are you tired? Do you need help focusing? Well, today's video is sponsored by Catalyst Mints, the greatest gaming, wake-up, homework, study, working, driving mints the world has ever known. And all thanks to its Siberian Eleuthero root technology, giving you all that energy without the crash. Check it out with the link in the description and use the coupon code Gnoggin for a discount. Difference: The Simpsons always has everyone the same age, while in Pokemon, some characters have changed their looks and gotten older. But never Ash. He's had birthdays.
Don't you know what today is, Pikachu? This is the day we first met. The day